Well, ladies and gentlemen, Shawn, you've seen the title of this joint. You know what's about to go down. Yes. Did I dress up? Did I get a little formal? Yes. Yes, I did. Because this is now serious. You know, in the past, we used to take these reviews, oh yeah, this is our, formal introduction. This is our formal review. No, we're taking this crap seriously now. We're reinstituting how we look at things, how we look at our music. It has been almost 3-4 years since Snowdrift, since a formal review. Now, we're taking this up a notch. I've got my coffee. I've got my suit. I've got detailed notes in front of me that I just finished the other day. We are, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a critical deep dive of SUNGLOW ShawnPhenomenon. Now, don't mind me. This is about to be one of the greatest, one of the fun, most hopefully hilarious experiences for you. Shout out to my future self editing this. But we're going to go into it. We're going to have some humor. We're going to have some fun. We're also going to take this seriously. We're going to have some critical thoughts that what I think about this. It has been about 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. Almost to the date, actually, since SUNGLOW. And we are going to dive into this track by track. I'm going to try to go through this. So basically how this works, we'll have 3 sections. We're going to have pros, cons, and expanded notes. The pros and cons are going to be about the music, about how maybe the ad-libs were, or how the instrumental plays out, or the flow of it. The expanded notes go into the story, go into the lyrics, the depth of it, and what you're trying to portray. This is my opinion, so let's get that out of the way. This is not the end-all, be-all situation for anything by any means. But I know in our circle, you, me, and Harms, we very much, take this seriously to a whole nother level. So let's dive right into it. Let's not dilly-dally any further. Let's not beat around the bush. And let's just have some fun, all right? This is, it's not to be taken super seriously, but at the end of the day, this is my formal review. This is what I give it. This is what I say about the album. So let's go into it. Awesome. Wake Up intro. So I also am going to be rating each track out of 1 out of 10 as well, kind of where they just fall. They made it on my playlist if they didn't. Wake Up intro. So the Wake Up intro is fantastic. It's a good transition. It literally starts us with the last 20 seconds of Snowdrift and gets us right into it. Now, Shawn has been developing this world, you could say, for the past, I want to say 5-6 years of making sure that he said this, his music to be as third dimensional, as deep as possible, but always having a sense of purpose of writing behind it. So when he made Welcome to Winter, when he made Snowdrift, when he made SUNGLOW, each one of them had their own specific flavor and taste and had a story that encapsulated him and his perspective of either the world, of relationships, of drama, of purity. You fill in the blank. He's talked about it. And I would say this is the third installment of this trilogy that we have been just getting of seasonal themed cinematic masterpieces that have gone, just either timeless or not so timeless. Welcome to Winter is it absolutely a timeless classic for sure. Is it something that I personally bang to this day? No, I do not. Maybe an occasional West, maybe once every 3 months. Snowdrift is another instance, and I'm going to get to it, how it's felt like every time I have gone through something, there's been a Shawn album on the other side of it, which has been great. But Snowdrift is a different story of itself. I went back and looked at my review of it. I think I gave it about a 6.5, strong 6, which is, or strong 6, light 7, which is pretty fantastic. I would probably do a redux review of it and probably shoot it up towards an 8, somewhere around there, probably an 8, solid 8. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about the past. We're not talking about the world that Shawn has created with these. But it's important to know about the things that were in the past that he has created, because there's a heavier tone set and things hit harder when you know these projects well, like I do, and in depth, that some of these notations, some of these callbacks just hit twice as hard than the average listener would. So Wake Up intro has the transition of Snowdrift right into it. The callbacks are very well placed. A lot of a sparkly sound effects are kind of going through your ear, something in the left, something in the right. Immediately puts and ties the listener into the album's overarching narrative. Basically of Wake Up, we need to find a way out. We need to break the cycle. We need to stop what is going on in our lives and do something different. We need to wake up from the sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it is such just a big cinematic piece. I think it's well done, very well portrayed. I mean, it's an intro. You know, there's really no cons to it. It's an intro. It needs to be, you know, just kind of set the tone. It's not, we don't really judge, you know, interludes or intros and outros too much, but they're a good placeholder. So 3 years in the making. The intro sets the stage for everything to come. It's not just a call for the listener to wake up, but it's Shawn himself, shaking himself out of the complacency and preparing to confront the cycles he's been trapped in. The cinematic movie trailer energy foreshadows the scope of the album and hints at themes that we will later revisit. Both sides is name dropped and played a little bit, which is fantastic. Call back to Welcome to Winter. Warning about the dangers of living in a contradictory life, of being stuck between who you are and who you want to be. There's an urgency here, almost the siren's cry of warning of what is to come if you're not careful. The consequences are coming for you. Is a line that is played throughout the song. They're coming for you. Got to be careful. A prelude to Sirens, the next track, and then the line towards the end of the intro. Winter is over. Again, enforcing the themes of Welcome to Winter and Snowdrift being over, and we have to do something different, which later reappears in the album as the first real signal that it is about time to leave the past behind and embracing something new, even if it's scary. So that's the Wake Up intro. We're going to go right into Sirens. Sirens is an interesting track for me. There's got some pros for it. First, the larger-than-life instrumental is easily one of the best track qualities here to date. Now, we know that Shawn doesn't necessarily pick the instrumentals, but I have something to say about that towards the end of this video that kind of rebuttals against the argument of him not using his own, doing his own sounds. But we'll get to that later. The pounding percussion, the layered effects, the wide stereo feels so immersed into this world where sirens are panned from left to right, creating a sense of chaos and tension that feels utterly cinematic. There are moments that invoke Billie Eilish's-esque breakdowns, where the silence and heavy drops amplify the impact even harder, and just makes this chaos, distorted warning sign practically to the listener. Now, with that, Billie Eilish-esque breakdown, the beat slows down to a few sections, and that's where I have a serious problem with this track. The beat slows down in a few sections where I understand what Shawn was going for, a kind of a breath of a storm kind of switching and swelling, and I like how he transitions his flow utterly seamless as the beat gets slower and slower and slower, but it just feels abrupt and disjointed for me. It just pulls me out of the world that the song is building, kind of just like, what is going on? Are we moving in slow motion? Like, it's just not it for me. As much as I like what he was trying to go for here, it's not here. But also, too, I have a problem with him switching it because I have the original. Now, Future Edited Me, please play a clip of the Future Me, play a clip of Sirens, the old version, how it was.
Got a question, I bet your ego sucks you in. I could be so rich, I would still be poor in my mind, yeah. I bet your ego sucks you in and I tells you that you're so right, yeah.
So it's hard to you have that, and I played it all the time because it was such a catchy song. We loved listening to it before it was ever released, and then hearing it, it's like, oh, it was such a good track, and then it got not necessarily ruined. It just my opinion, just not where I liked it at all. Knowing the original, it just feels a bit chaotic at points, almost overloaded with effects, rather than complete than a complementary section that adds to the overall song. So that's a little bit of a problem with me. The track continues with the album's main theme of complacency and hidden dangers lurking when you refuse to grow. The sirens themselves symbolize warnings as the alarms in your head when you know something has to be changed but can't quite make the leap yet. There's also some fascinating tension in the lyrics about walking out of the valley and being mentally stuck there. It's a progress, but it's fragile. The way that time is played with lyrically asking the listener questions rather than giving him answers. Do you hear the sirens? Do you hear the sirens? Like, do you understand what is going on here? Feels like Shawn is inviting us to wrestle with our own cycles rather than preaching at us, which is such a touch and such a delicate balance of this song that it's phenomenal to listen to. Now, I am giving Sirens a 6 out of 10, but it is still making my playlist, which is interesting because normally if you make the playlist, it has to be above an 8.5, just a track single. But Sirens, I can listen, I can push through the awkwardness and almost the abrupt feel of the slowdown, that I can still mess with it pretty heavy because of the chaotic world that Shawn is building here. So that's what I think about Sirens. Let's move on here. Red Curtains. Oh my God. This song, and I've glazed it on the mega album review. I've glazed it to Shawn in person when I went on my trip to visit him. But this song, for me, is truly the pinnacle and the peak of what happens when someone effortlessly combines worlds with music. And what I mean by worlds of, like, you set a presence and an atmosphere that is so undeniable, the song reflects how well and how meticulous you've created. This is easily one of the strongest tracks of the year for me. Top 3, probably. The way the stage is set, literally and metaphorically, is unparalleled. The atmosphere is breathtaking. Soft band, soft instrumentals, vocals delivered almost as a whisper, and a sense of intimacy that feels both raw and theatrical. The bass, the drums, the guitars, the hand in hand with Shawn's delivery, nothing feels forced. Nothing tries to be more than it is. It is a simple yet powerful song of, just instrumentally, it is just encapsulated so well with just the right amount of reverb, just the right amount of sound effects and stage presence, and it truly feels like Shawn is in a bar in 1945, going up to it on stage, grabbing an old-fashioned mic and just singing his heart out with a crowd that doesn't even know who he is. Oh, gosh. This song is so good. This song plays with dual perspectives. Shawn performing for a crowd, but also simultaneously wrestling with his inner thoughts. Lines like, "Why won't your head nod? Why are you all still laughing? Maybe I would fit in with a different crowd," are brutal and honest and layered. It's the pleading in these lines, a deep desire to be accepted, to make people proud, but also a sting of frustration when the effort feels unnoticed. Now, personally, of course, I know Shawn very well, so this is like double the intensity, double the rawness for me, because this is so real with the with the laugh tracks and the fake applause sprinkled throughout the production, amplify the song's commentary on performance and validation. And it's such a good representation of Shawn and how he just thinks, and how it's hard for him to tackle with people or to get to know people, and just see his progression and his growth. And this song is just encapsulates it so well, of just how he goes through it, and the frustration, and why are people, are they being fake to me? What am I thinking? I'm overthinking, and I think Soren said it so well. It's a beautiful track of overthinking. It's like after that high of sirens, you go backstage and you just overthink everything. It's just, it's so good. It's so deep with emotion and vulnerability. The chorus repeating like a broken vinyl adds to the sense of being stuck in a loop. Performing, questioning, performing again, self-awareness, cinematic, and vulnerable in a way few songs ever dare to be. And this song is perfect. It's perfect. I can't find anything wrong with it. The world that is just portrayed, I could talk on hours for it, but we're gonna move on here. Red Curtains is easily a 10 for 10. First song that I knew that this project was gonna be different, and gave me something different that I was worried at the beginning that Shawn wasn't gonna deliver on. Like, I knew it was gonna be more of a happier vibe, but this turned my head to okay, he's actually trying to do something completely different here that is contrary to every single sound he's made up until this point. So good. Anyway, Apathy, another banger of a song. The flow is tight. The reverb on the chorus adds a haunting, remorseful touch. It's catchy. There's weight behind it. A bittersweet hook that sticks with you wherever you go. Settling for apathy, settling for half of me, and never growing. Like, it's raw. It's real. It's such a good song. Well, all these songs are so good at being presenting themselves so vulnerable and raw that you can't help but notice the authenticity of it. Apathy is a great song. I do have a couple things with it. The song could use a little more progression in its later half, in my opinion. It feels like it hovers in one space rather than building to a resolution, which might have been the kind of the goal of the song, but I would like to see maybe a little more of a tone switch, or a little more of a different vibe to it as well. But still one of the best songs on here. Well, also too, little biased, future me once again. Roll the clip of me actually that I should have been on this song. Roll it.
The time was fleeting like these feelings, and I don't know what I'm even dealing, but sometimes we don't seem right. So I'll just say, just going through the motion.
So little biased, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna blow past it. We're gonna move on here. It's a great song. I should have been on it. Whatever. The track is about numbness and the exhaustion of trying to climb out of rock bottom, only to find yourself settling back into it. What's clever here is how Shawn portrays almost escaping the sense of it, being better than I was, but still one step from falling away. It's relatable for anyone who's felt this type of progress overshadowing by lingering old habits. The muted production mirrors the emotional flatness, you could say, almost like you're underwater as you're trying to escape, but you're settling because it almost feels like there is no escape. So I personally love this song. The guitar on it is so simple. It's so clean. There's really nothing too crazy about this song, but also too, I said this during the album review that Shawn got a little ticked about, but sometimes his overproduction can sometimes overshadow a song. But this one, I feel like in certain parts it may do that with maybe too much reverb, but I think there's a great blend here of making sure it's mostly just him singing, pouring his heart out, and not trying to be too shiny, too over glamorous with it. Moving on. Back to Zero. This is going to be an interlude, so it's going to be a little bit different. Incredible, personal, and raw. It's honestly, it's the most raw thing that I think I've heard this year. It feels like listening to no, it is listening to like voice memos who someone recorded at their lowest point with no posh, no filter, nothing, and it touches on real struggles, sexual sin, burnout, the fakeness of daily routines, and the cycle of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this interlude is such at an interesting place at the album because we're still on this wave until about Kiss Winter, where it still feels low. It still feels like we're still stuck. It doesn't feel like we're making any progress. It doesn't feel like the track list is making any progress or wanting to make or have a sense of progress of wanting to change or wanting to do something different. It's kind of just still stuck. We're still in the same cycle. We're still struggling with all these different things, and it's frustrating. It's dumb. It's annoying. And the title itself, Back to Zero, perfectly captures the frustration of starting over again and again. It's hopeless. It's tiring. It's the sound of somebody admitting, I can't fake it anymore. It's refreshing also, too, and its lack of pretense, of the cracks in Shawn's voice, making it one of the most vulnerable things on the project. You know this thing isn't faked. You can tell, I can tell, when I know he sounds younger in this one voice memo or sounds older in this one voice memo. And the fact that, I feel like so many people need to do this, but self-reflection of just sometimes telling yourself, exactly where you are in this moment of time, but then looking back on it 3 months, 6 months, a year later, and being like, wow, I used to be at this point. Now I'm maybe I'm lower, or maybe I'm even higher, and I'm like, look at the progression. And I think so many people need to do this sometimes, of just seeing, okay, I might have been at this point at one time, but now I'm over here and it's better. Almost the way this album works, of here at one point and then gone and then into the next. So it's an interlude. Not really gonna rate it. I don't know if I rated app. I think I did. It was 8 out of 10. It's an interlude. Not really gonna rate it. So let's just move on here. Nothing too crazy, but such a great interlude, kind of just still engulfing us in this world. Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley is a song that's grown on me. It really has grown on me. It's Shawn's most mature flow rap song to date, easily. His delivery is focused, intense, and reflective, and you can tell what he means every word that he says here. And this is the first song too that I've really had to also just focus on what he's saying, focus on the story he's trying to portray here. What is he trying to say and come across, especially as every one of these other songs can be kind of more singy, kind of more in the background as you're driving, but this is a song you pay attention to. This is a song where you're like, oh frick, something is trying to be said here. I will say though, there is just a couple cons with this. I feel like the title's very mismatched though. It should not have been Paradise Valley, because you had Lowest Valley and Snowdrift, and then calling this Paradise Valley feels ironic at best, because it's not the opposite of Lowest Valley, because Lowest Valley was a hard-hitting song, pretty low, and then Paradise Valley almost feels just like a kind of a breaking point almost, and almost reminding yourself to get out of this place, and it doesn't feel like what the opposite of Lowest Valley. I would put like maybe Paradise Valley as like, these are the days we prayed for, one of those type of vibes of song, not this. I feel like that's very mismatched and just almost misleading almost in a sense, because it's not really Paradise Valley. It's more of like, wake the frick up, you moron. The song doesn't provoke paradise. It's more of a breaking point, in my opinion. But I will say this is the album's turning point, where the moment where Shawn decides he's done living in cycles. The verses are packed with self-realization and prayer, with Shawn asking God for renewal and identity, and the standout line, "Stop living with the pigs, I got the palace for you," is a prodigal son moment that declares a sense of leaving the shame behind. The track's energy shifts from being sad and lament almost to resolve, and perfectly setting up the album's final stretch. So I will say, as much as, it's very flow rap, very intense, but there's some great things that Shawn is just saying here, like that last line, and just God reminding him who he is and where he's supposed to be, and how to come from this place. And it finally evokes a sense of change and wanting to do something different after just complacency for, good Lord, 6-5 tracks. So yeah, Paradise Valley, it's grown on me. It's a great song. At first it wasn't on the playlist, but it is now. It's an 8 out of 10. Enjoyed this. Now we have Kiss Winter. All right. We're being serious here, all right? We're being serious here. Kiss Winter is an interesting song. I got some good things to say about it first. I love the callbacks here. The Twilight interlude, the callback to Snowfall, which is a song that I don't think any song has grown on me more than that song right there. The sound effects feel so intentional, so full circle. It's finally saying goodbye to the last album, the one before that, to the last cycle, to the last things that Shawn is finally letting go and just saying, Lord, I give this to you. Let me be something new. And I love it. It's just a great just message of finally leaving the past behind. But besides thematically with this song, it's a hard song, not necessarily to listen to, but it's the most hot gotcha songs in my opinion. The payoff never lands here. Shawn is, talking about it's time to kiss this winter. Like, it gets you freaking hyped. Like, you could be in a locker room, like, with all your boys and be like, yo, let's go. Like, we about to, like, you could get hyped to this, and about to, tear the roof off on something as you are leaving the past behind. It's an anthem. It's a call. It's finally a sense, provoking the sense of feeling there is so much more, and so there's something larger than life, than everything that's been going on, all these cycles, all this shame, and it's time to finally just kiss it away, kiss the past, say goodbye to it, leave it behind, and just move the frick forward. And the payoff just never ever hits, and I think everybody in the mega review also agreed with it. The payoff never lands. The build-up promise to something massive feels like a movie trailer hyping up an epic battle, but cuts off right before the climax. The glitchy effects at the end too also feel very anticlimactic rather than satisfying. It feels like you open up a book, it's so good, it has you mesmerized, but then you go to the final chapter and it's blank. Like, it just doesn't hit with me. This is easily the weakest track on here. But the message behind it is so great though. This track is bittersweet. It closes the Snowdrift memories with a goodbye, both present and the last 4 years of Shawn's previous sound. It's time to sing a new song, Shawn says in here. Like, the lyrics just emphasize it so well. Is more than just a lyric, it's a mission statement. Despite the anticlimactic production, the thematic weight is undeniable. This is Shawn's closing of a chapter and stepping into something new. This is the way we say goodbye. It feels cheap. It doesn't feel right. This is we're talking 5, 4, maybe 6 years of this sound, of this emotional state of mind, and this is kind of how we're saying goodbye to it. Now, I know Shawn kind of has a different opinion on it, and it is catchy in its own senses, but I just don't see it being just a great song here. I think it's just the theme is so carried so well that the production and the sound lacks behind it. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10 for me, but let us move on here as well. Now we finally get to the meat and the gritty and the glazeness of this freaking album. Next song is Where We Are Is Where We Need to Be. What a mouthful. First off, that's my first con. I'm just kidding. Gosh, this song is so great. The opening memory sample is beautifully tasteful and setting the mood, intimate, nostalgic, and grounding. The track radiates windows down, late night drive energy. It's a kind of song you want to be playing as you're cruising towards your destination, zero worries, a car full of friends, and just soaking in the moment that is full of just love and something that you'll never forget. It's beautiful, just the beautiful guitar with the car sound effects, so good. The drum, I will say there's some little nitpicks here. The drums could have hit a little harder. The groove is solid, but a bit more punch here could have elevated the track's emotional highs and given it extra momentum, some variety, some little more, a little more punch. But we're gonna get to a closing statement here of instrumentals and Shawn's palette and how he picks them and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get to that. But here on the expanded notes, this song feels like a deep breath, a pause of appreciation to life as it is. Shawn blends gratitude and reflection beautifully here, thanking the Lord for what he has done while savoring the joy of the present. Lyrically, it looks back on where he has been but refuses to dwell on the past instead. It fully embraces the here and now, celebrating both journey and the people along the way. It's a warm sincerity on how he describes the moment with friends and family, those small snapshots that remind you that life's beauty isn't always in the milestones, but in the quiet in between. The title itself, Where We Are is Where We Need to Be, captures the song's core message: contentment. It's not about rushing into the next chapter or wishing we were somewhere else. It's about realizing it's the exact moment. In this exact moment, God has you exactly where you're supposed to be. Musically, it's an uplifting without feeling forced. It's almost like a sonic sigh of relief after some of the album's heavier tracks and heavier chapters set before it. Fantastic song. Absolutely fantastic song. This is the meat, like I said, of this album. This is where the getting good. And yeah, easily on the playlist. 9 out of 10. So good. Freaking enjoyed that song. It is so amazing. So amazing. Evergreen. Oh, dang, bro. Evergreen. Oh my gosh. This song is right next to Red Curtains. Right next to it. It is the most simple, easiest, catchiest track ever. It is this track is the close to perfect as it gets, right next to Red Curtains. It's easily the second best song on the album. There's nothing negative to say about it. Its vibe, its simplicity are its greatest strengths, easily. The steady beat, the calm, reflective energy is one of the most emotional, resonating songs on this entire record. It's understanding yet unforgettable. The kind of track that grows on you with each and every single listen. I have no cons about this song absolutely at all. And yeah, I'm gonna put this in here, except for I'm gonna ruin the song for you if you listen to it. Oh, Shawn already knows where I'm going with this. If you listen to Party, we don't need a party, we don't need a drink, we don't need a numb. It really does sound like he's saying potty, and well, we all know why he maybe would say that because of. Anyway, moving on. It gave me a good laugh. But I can still look past it, even though it's pretty funny. It gives character to the song. Okay, moving on. Evergreen captures a pure sense of peace and nostalgia. The imagery of driving through evergreen trees instantaneously teleports you. Once again, Shawn being so good at teleporting you and transporting you to an exact image you can get in your freaking brain and know exactly what he's talking about. It's scenic, it's grounded, it's deeply personal, especially for anyone with memories tied to road trips or quiet escapes into nature. For me, it brought back so many memories with trips with him. These moments where you're in the middle of nowhere, no distractions, just conversation and beauty all around you. Payson, Sedona, freaking, being here. Like I can name so many. Colorado, Dolores, so many different things. Lyrically, it's profound in its simplicity. Lines like, so let the Lord find you and me, let these mountains take you home, point to life being stripped of its noise, no endless chase for money, highs, or consistent partying to feel alive. It's such a great thing that you can truly have, and I love so many of my friend groups, and even in my life, that mirror this, that you truly don't need any of what the world needs or calls highs in order to have fun. You can, there's just such a lie, such a lie. Instead, it invites you to find fulfillment in something deeper. Faith, presence, gratitude, close ones around you. The closing lyric, "Let the Lord take you home," feels like a gentle benediction, an embrace rather than an ending. A fooling, just letting the Lord show you how to have fun. And gosh, I freaking love this song. So good. 10 out of 10, easily on the playlist. As soon as I heard it, it instantaneously was so catchy. And just let the mountains take you home. I'm sorry. It's exactly where I live right now. That's going to play into something later that I'll get into my closing statement. Anyway, moving on here. Friends. Oh my gosh. It's been a while since a song has had me almost in tears, and this song was it. This was one of the songs that I teared up to. I almost cried. I didn't, but I was pretty freaking close. Once again, the opening track with a memory is an absolute top-tier creative choice. At least for me, that's what I love to do. That's my bread and butter right there, and Shawn just nailing it even more perfectly. It immediately feels intimate. Like you're flipping through a scrapbook of moments rather than just listening to a song. The instrumental is gorgeous, soft, and gentle with a steady kick that anchors the track. When the chorus hits, it's an additional, more fuller instrumentation and atmospheric vocals that create a wave of emotion, filling every space in the mix. This is easily one of Shawn's most sonically pleasing tracks. It easily stands out in terms of production and mood and vibe that it instantaneously captures the moment you listen to it. I got nothing to say about this. Nothing bad to say about this song. This song is deeply personal, not just for Shawn, but for anyone who ever has learned or been around Shawn and is part of his closest friends to get through, and that have helped him get through some of life's hardest seasons. For me, it's even harder because I'm mentioned in it, which makes every lyric feel both a tribute and a thank you letter. Shawn doesn't just talk about friendships in vague terms and he paints a vivid scene. It's not about that. He particularly finds moments that are insanely deeply personal to every single person that is mentioned in this track. Two getting married because they found love, watching the Christmas parade, bonded over songs, so many just little specific moments. They feel like they could only come from a lived experience. What makes Friends so remarkable is how it balanced nostalgia with gratitude. Not just looking back fondly, it recognizes the quiet power of people who stand by you, shaping who you are. The lyric of not being afraid of the night anymore because of them is powerful and paints such a picture. It's about more than friendship. It's about finding safety, light, and belonging in the people who you truly, truly know. But here's the deeper layer. As much as Shawn is shaped by his friends, he's also shaping us. This song subtly acknowledges the mutual influence, the way love, care ripple back and forth between close friendships. It's not just one-sided. It's a cycle of support that changes everyone involved. That's why this song feels so human and so timeless. Many artists try to write the ultimate friendship song or try to capture the high of life, but Friends succeeds because it's not trying to be anything more than it is. It's specific, heartfelt, and honest. And just for me, it's a whole nother level. I mean, I heard the hype build up to this song, and just my verse, it just hits me even harder. And if you were just gonna give me Friends and pull everything else away from this album, that would have been enough for me. It's just so deep and emotional, and I just listening to this and just how this is so portrayed so beautifully is hard to find words with such a delicate balance of such a beautiful track. Bonded over songs, we became brothers through the years. Adventure after adventure, we're conquering our fears. From Carolina to Colorado, I never felt alone. So no matter what comes, I have a friend to call home. And that's a double meaning for me, as Called Home is one of my tracks. Called Home is the whole reason why I'm making my album that's soon to be released. Like, this is that last line is everything to me. And then having Shawn here, for a little bit of that time, and just be able to play some of these songs with him and enjoy the ultimate, best thing about our friendship, which is just trips and moments just where we just have fun. It doesn't take anything more, it doesn't take anything less. I could talk about this song for hours. Good Lord. Moving on. SUNGLOW, the title track, is once again another beautiful banger. It's very hard for any of these songs towards the latter end of this album to miss. It just really is. SUNGLOW yet is another gorgeous instrumentation. Even though Shawn doesn't produce these himself, he has the ability to curate beats and ensure every track fits the album's tone incredibly. I'm going to go into that later. The cohesiveness across the record is proof that he has an ear for these types of instrumentals. The vocals are feather-light, soft as a freaking blanket, with a tone that feels gentle as a summer's breeze. From a musical standpoint, it's nearly impossible to find any flaws. This is Shawn's most graceful and intentional song, with once again flowing over it like it's seamless. Like he went up to the mic and just did a one take. It's beautiful. Double layers that are intentional, layers that drive points home. Now, I don't have necessarily any cons about this song, but there's something that we're gonna freaking address here. And we're gonna get it freaking right and set the record straight here for whoever's the freaking watching this crap. Waking up to the sound of an eagle? What? Okay, future me, roll a clip of what an eagle sounds like. Now roll a clip of what Shawn was trying to go for. Two way different freaking things here. Completely different. An eagle's like a majestic freedom statement. I really find it hard to believe that none of us during the album listening party or a review didn't stop and to think about that for a second. Waking up to the sound of an eagle? Wait a minute. Arizona doesn't have any eagles unless you go somewhere else, and definitely not in Tucson. So, what the frick was he going for here? Now, me and Shawn had debated about this, and it's funny and it's stupid, but like, nah. No. No. Also, too, I wish this was the closing track. My opinion. I feel like if you switch these, the Days We Prayed For and SUNGLOW, I feel like that would have been a heck of a lot better, in my opinion. Also, too, a tiny nitpick. Waking up to the sound of an eagle, need my fan on, it's 90 degrees. Summer camp in a couple of weeks. Weeks glitches out crazy with the auto-tune. But that's not that big of a deal. I can look past that. SUNGLOW is a representation of a shift. The long-awaited turn of the tide, the heaviness of earlier tracks wrestling with complacency and cycle and self-doubt, the song feels like sunlight breaking through the clouds. It's hopeful, warm, a quiet, triumphant. This title alone evokes the image of a golden morning light. And that's exactly how the song feels. Waking up to a new beginning. Lyrically, Shawn captures a mix of gratitude and reflections like line, "Lord, would you remind me of who I am?" Strike the heart of identity. It's an honest prayer after a season of searching. The lyric about broken friendships at 15 to brotherhood for life adds just another, once again, beautiful personal layer of celebrating reconciliation and growth over time. It's the kind of song that creates a vivid mental pictures, driving mountain roads, sitting on a quiet beach, or watching the sunrise on a crisp morning is exactly what this song evokes and is exactly what Shawn was going for. What makes SUNGLOW truly special is that it's timelessness. Say that 5 times fast. It's not just a track for this album. It feels like one that listeners will return to for years, whenever they need peace or reassurance. It's a calm after the storm, the beauty after the chaos, a reminder that healing often comes quietly, not loudly. Fantastic song, such a great song. Easy 10 out of 10. The Days We Prayed For is a good song. It is. It truly is. But I got some things to say about it. The cinematic hits, the risers throughout this track, are absolutely phenomenal. See what I did there? It gave me almost a movie trailer level energy that instantaneously grabs my attention with the opening 3 seconds. The blend of Shawn's gentle singing, low-tone rap creates a dynamic contrast from the a big vocal chorus, keeping the song engaging and fresh from start to finish. Like I said, the chorus is easily the strongest element here. A soaring high vocal layered with subtle lows, making an anthemic? No. Anthem. Anthemic? Frick! And deeply personal, amazing song. One of my favorite moments here is towards the end, the unexpected interruptions where the callbacks just flood in and everything about this album and Snowdrift and Welcome to Winter just comes crashing in and just beats you over the head like a stick. Now this is a good switch up, good change towards the end of the song that takes me out of the world, builds me back up, and then smashes me right back down to it. This was good. This could absolutely worked, not slowing it down. The glitch in the matrix effects with the voice memos from Back to Zero in the left ear, Tell Me and Snowdrift in the right, the echoes of Wake Up and Winter is Over, calling back once again Kiss Winter, and the Wake Up intro, all bring it back together for a massive final riser that slams and hits you so freaking hard across the face, you feel like you just got beat over the side by your grandma. Pause. Goosebumps. Absolute goosebumps. I will say that there's a couple things with this song. The drums feel too quiet. They lack the punch. They needed to match the rest of the chaotic, beautiful, happy energy that this track creates. The absence of a strong snare, too, is completely just gone. Or variation of percussion feels like the song feels almost slightly restrained. Especially as also, too, this is the 6th guitar-driven beat in a row. And I think there's a total of 8 out of this track list. So a little interesting there. That's a nitpick, but it's kind of more of a stronger nitpick because I would have liked to seen a little more reality, but we're in a little more contrast throughout the album. A little more impact here could have elevated to this album, to this song, to close to perfection. 7.5 for me out of 10. This track serves as a final statement of the album, an anthem of victory and belonging. It carries a message of faith and reassurance that no matter what challenges life throws your way, you're not alone. You don't have to fear what's ahead. And Shawn reflects on the dark seasons of isolation and prayer. Those quiet, desperate nights where it was just him and God, and the contrast of him being out of it with joy and seeing those prayers being absolutely 100% fulfilled and answered. The theme of gratitude runs so deep here. A song about cherishing high moments with friends and family, recognizing them as a blessing that money can't buy. Truly, ultimately priceless. The lyric, don't worry about tomorrow, worry about today, is a direct nod, and I don't know if Shawn was going for this, to Matthew 6:34, where don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will still have worries of its own, sufficient for each day of its own trouble. And it's such a fitting verse to close the album, as it's rooted in wrestling with, once again, the anxiety cycles and eventually finding peace in surrender to the Lord. Musically and thematically, this feels like the culmination of the album's journey, the complacency to clarity, the cycle to freedom, from winter to SUNGLOW. It doesn't shy away from the acknowledgement of the past, but it ends with a hopeful note. A celebration of finally living in the days you once prayed for. I still stay on my statement of SUNGLOW should have been the closing track. It's just how beautifully gentle it is. All right, folks. All right, I need you to lock the frick in. We're going to be an hour? Dang. This is good, though. I need you to lock in for a second here. We're doing the conclusion and the final score. Lock in. Shawn's album, SUNGLOW, plays like a personal diary. Shawn's album plays like a personal diary, stitched together like a cinematic soundtrack. A journey from winter to sunlight, from cycle of complacency into moments of clarity and gratitude. Across its tracks, he confronts brokenness, doubt, and the weight of performing for others, only to discover peace and identity in something greater than himself, faith, community, and the quiet beauty of everyday life. What makes this album special is its honesty. It's not afraid to show the lows, the numbness, the cycle, the desperate prayers whispered in the quietness. It also doesn't shy away from celebrating the highs either. Shawn gives space for just the right amount of nostalgia, gratitude, and faith without them feeling forced. They flow naturally from a story he's telling. Musically, the album's cohesive production, soft guitars, cinematic risers, atmospheric vocals creates a soundscape that truly feels intimate yet epic, personal yet universal. Ultimately, this album is about growth, about letting go of what you thought you needed, learning to appreciate where you are and realizing that even in the valleys, there's beauty and purpose. It's about friendships that shape you, prayers that sustain you, the God who walks with you through it all. By the end, you don't just hear Shawn's story, you feel like you lived it with him. That's a bar. Sorry. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see your own self reflected in this story too. For this being Shawn's 6th full-length album, it's miles above the rest. Ever since the real awakening of his talent at Welcome to Winter, well, take that with a grain of salt, it's been nothing but classic after classic after classic. Albums like Snowdrift and SUNGLOW have pretty much mirrored my own life. The good, the bad, everything in between. That no matter where I've been, I've felt like I've always had a Shawn album to fall back to. Something to make me happy, to let me be sad, to vibe, to think deeply, or just to feel something. From Snowdrift to Moving Away to feeling completely lost and out of place, to the nostalgia that I feel with that album, to this one, being in the mountains, being with friends, enjoying the highs of life. It hasn't been perfect, and in those low moments, I still feel like I have had Snowdrift to fall back on. I've had something in Welcome to Winter to listen to. It's not just been, high after high after high, but I feel like I've always had a song or a track that fit almost every single moment for probably the last 3-4 years. This album isn't perfect, but it's pretty dang close. And listen, I don't just give 10s lightly. A perfect 10 is very rare. Very rare. I think Harms would agree, Shawn would agree. It's not something that should ever be taken lightly, regardless if you like music or not. A 10 is insanely rare. Now, for some of those, this is my opinion, it's my list. From Me to You, Didn't Mean to Haunt You, Quedeca, of course, Perception, The Search, NF, Eremos by John Keith. Those albums, might have their teeny tiny flaws, but I can overlook them because every other song, the story, the message, everything, what it's meant to me has blown it out of the water. And then you have some 9s, which, could fit in, but like we're talking 10s here, 10s. That regardless of like time, place, energy, I can listen to the whole album top to bottom and be completely okay. Those records define just eras and times and emotions for me, along with Snowdrift and SUNGLOW. But is this album a 10? The only thing holding this album back is Shawn not having full control over the instrumentals. And honestly, if he did, I could overlook the weaker moments, like Kiss Winter, or some things not being super strong or super punchy. And I know this is an ongoing debate, but I've told him this, that if he just, and I know he'd be so good at it too, if he broke through and knew how to play with synths and got a DAW, he would take his his music to the next level. Because when you have such a control and know exactly how you want everything portrayed or how a song to flow, something like Sirens could be done so well, so seamless, so smoothly that it wouldn't ever take you out of the world. And I know just Shawn's just thoughts and palette and the way that he does cohesively get beats so well. And that's where I'm kind of getting back to. And I think I said it in a track before. He has such an ear for knowing this song will go with this one, this will go right next to this one, and it blends seamlessly together like he has created. He has a beautiful, beautiful ear for knowing how instrumentals and palettes and how they all work. But that's my thing, though. That's where I'm like, I was not necessarily worried about this, but I'm like, okay, is Shawn going to be able to deliver on something different than Snowdrift? And he absolutely has. This is more than just his best album, because it easily is. It's a masterpiece that will stand the test of time. Truly. And I could go on and on about just things, and I had to condense this to be, and we're still going to run probably a 45-minute, maybe 55-minute video. There's so much more to this. There's so many ins and outs that I know I probably haven't covered, but the test of time, all of these songs are still high in rotation. Shawn is on track to be my #1 artist for Spotify Wrapped. It feels like I've always had a Shawn album in my pocket that I could just listen to in whatever stage of life that I could and just be like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm feeling, and that's it. But there's so much more of a touch of personalism to this, just not only for his close friends, but that you truly feel like you can live this, that there's a point in your life where you understand where he's struggling, where he's gone through, and it is a beautiful, beautiful picture to just see it have it all resolved towards the end. Now, enough dilly-dallying, enough glazement. I'm giving SUNGLOW by ShawnPhenomenon, his 6th full-length album, a score of 9.3 out of 10. 9.3 out of 10. This album is close to perfect, and it might grow on me even more to be in my 10s list. But this album it's insane. And let's just go off script here. Let's just close out some of my notes here. And yeah, man, you destroyed this album. You captured the vibe. You did exactly what you set to do, and also in the matter of like 2 months. Yeah, of course, there's other songs in here. Yeah, but yeah, you killed this. This is fantastic, beautiful. It's hard to describe some of these tracks, how they make me feel, because there isn't the right words. I would have to go into my freaking dictionary of obscured emotions to truly figure out what I'm feeling for this album. And yeah, it's amazing. It's gonna be timeless. I'm gonna be listening to this with my future wife, with my future kids, with the future moments I have in life, because it just captures the timelessness of it all. Is just so beautiful. It's so genuine. It's so it's so great. But yeah, 9.3. This album is pretty dang close to perfect. Pretty close. I can with the low moment, or sometimes low moment of Kiss Winter, but everything else I could probably look past. And this might grow on me to be a 10, but right now I'm giving this a concrete score of 9.3. I'd never thought, and this is going to be an absolutely generational year for us three, truly, because Harms is easily an 8.5, 8 area, and this is a 9.3. Like this is a generational run for you guys, but especially you, man. This is just so freaking good. But yeah, I'm closing it up. That's my final thoughts. Once again, thank you for tuning in to a JDS critical breakdown video of this. And once again, this is my opinion. Take it or leave it. Upchuck in a river. I don't freaking care. I don't care who's watching this, you know, whatever. But yeah, this is amazing, beautiful, nostalgic. I would be constantly listening to this. SUNGLOW, ShawnPhenomenon, JDS, forever. Oh.